What's up, marketers, business owners? Hopefully you're one and the same. My name is Corey Owens. I'm here to teach practical and effective marketing strategies that you can use to scale your business. Today I'm sharing with you my method for evaluating a local business, or any business for that matter, using a simple document I created in Microsoft Word. But before we proceed, it's important that you understand this one thing. Every business owner deals with customers and clients in terms of public relationships is a marketing business owner first. I'll repeat that. Every business owner that deals with customers and clients in terms of their public relationships is a marketing business owner first. Doesn't matter if you're a restaurant, a doctor, if you're selling t-shirts or hot dogs, your ability to scale while preparing for Web 3.0 depends on your ability to invest in prioritizing your marketing efforts. That being said, let's get started. Let's talk a little bit about what marketing is and what it's going into. Marketing isn't artificial intelligence, but artificial intelligence is definitely something that is going to change the landscape of marketing. With that, you're also going to see a rise in voice activation. That's like Alexa, Google. You'll see that in your car. You'll see that on your refrigerator at some point. And you also see a rise in augmented reality, virtual reality, any type of virtual space, such as the metaverse, for example. NFTs, you'll see a rise in what we call Web 3.0, whereas 2.0 deals with applications, direct messaging, social media, websites. A lot of businesses, especially in the South, were not prepared with Web 2.0 when COVID happened. And they ended up having to go out of their way to get set up with a website, to get set up with delivery, things that they should have had already done prior to the lockdown. And in doing that, they kind of caught up, but were still behind, because once everyone got affiliated with Web 2.0, getting a website, getting online, getting on social media, 3.0 started just opening the floodgates of new technology. And that's where we see artificial intelligence step in. That's where we see a rise in voice activations. That's where we see a rise in augmented reality, which means blending the virtual world with the physical world. We all know what happened when Apple launched their first iPhone. A lot of people said it wasn't going to take over. It wasn't going to be this big thing, and it turns out that almost everyone in the world who has a smartphone is using an Apple device, and everyone that's in the creative space has some sort of an Apple device, whether it be an iPhone, an iPad, a MacBook, or a Mac desktop. The Apple ecosystem is incredible, and we see now that they're preparing next year to launch the VR headsets. So now that almost every household has at least one iPhone in it, their launch of, I'll say, a fairly expensive, maybe $2,000-$3,000 headset is going to help streamline households, the number of households that has a VR headset inside of it. So that doesn't necessarily mean more households will have an Apple headset, but more households will have an Oculus Quest or PlayStation VR, or some sort of a entry-level headset, now that Apple is getting into the VR space. So you'll have a lot of competitors coming out here soon with much cheaper virtual reality headsets, and that's something that you're going to want to look into in terms of marketing your business. How can we prepare for what's coming with augmented and virtual reality? How can we prepare for artificial intelligence, for voice activation in our businesses when we're not fully equipped with Web 2.0? And that's what I'm here to help solve today for restaurants. So we might be a ways away from Web 3.0, but a lot of businesses still aren't really fully acquainted with Web 2.0. So this document that I created, that I'm going to share with you today in this stream, is really designed to help restaurant owners and marketing agencies or marketing interns be able to better understand how to build an online presence for a business. I specifically focus on restaurants, for locally owned businesses here in Memphis, Tennessee, and I've created a document that helps me be able to go and evaluate my prospects. So, for example, I went to Hen House And that's a pretty fairly popular restaurant. They've got a great reputation, they've got great branding, and they have a pretty decent marketing presence. But you would think that a really good reputation restaurant like Hen House or Flight would have their entire Web 2.0 presence, fully activated, but generally that's not the case because a lot of business owners, even a lot of marketing agencies, don't fully understand how to totally integrate marketing. And to be fair, it's not the cheapest thing to do for a business. But going back to something I said when I first started this video, every business is a marketing business first, or should be, especially if you're dealing with clients, customers, and you're in the public facing side of your social media presence. So to better, I guess, expand on that, if you're not doing marketing well, even if you are doing marketing and you're doing a lot of marketing, if you're not doing marketing well, you could be throwing a lot of money, effort, and your investment away, whereas you're not able to really measure the return that you're getting on those dollars spent on marketing. And that's what I want to help restaurant owners understand. That's what I want to help marketers understand so that we can better facilitate our marketing efforts for the restaurants that need this so badly. So to get started, I'm going to show you this document that I created. This is called the Online Presence Marketing Relevancy Overview. It's a mouthful. And essentially what this is designed to do is to help the person that is presenting this document to, let's say, a restaurant, for example, is to help that restaurant owner or general manager or whoever it is that's over those marketing efforts better understand what their online presence currently is, what it could be, and where they're potentially leaving money on the table. A marketing person or a business owner might ask, what is it that you bring to the table with your firm? And my answer is asses. Literally, we want to focus on getting more asses in the seats. You bring the food or whatever it is that you serve at your restaurant. My job is to help you get more people in the seat. Unfortunately, a lot of restaurants don't see the value in investing what they should be per location into marketing, and most of the times it's because they are uneducated. So to start, let me walk you through this document. Let me extend this back out. So what I have here is a Word document. This was updated on the 1st yesterday, and essentially we have these different rows and columns that highlight social channels or different digital channels that may or may not be activated by a brand. So today, let's say I'm going to go and file, save as. We're going to save this as a new document on my desktop. So let's say this PC. Let's go to desktop, and online presence will change for print. And I'll share this in the Entrepreneur Club Mastermind program. If you want access to our private group, send me a direct message or comment under this video if you're on YouTube with one word, membership, and I'll get you access so that you can download this document. So we're going to say this is for Hen House, since that is the most recent restaurant that I have approached with the business card. All right, so we're going to change this from extended to, say, Hen House. And what we're going to look at first is, well, I'll just go down this full list. We've got branding. Hopefully you guys can see that. I'm going 1080p on my streams. Branding, website. Do they have branded emails? You'll notice a lot of businesses and a lot of managers, general managers that are operating inside of businesses they don't own, they may be using a Yahoo, a Hotmail, a Gmail, and that might be the safest route depending on your turnover rate of employment. But it is definitely preferred that each of your employees has a branded email. So if henhousewinebar.com is your domain name, your general manager should have a name@henhousewinebar.com email address, not a henhouse name.henhouse@gmail or yahoo.com. So a branded email is an email that is attached to your TLD or top level domain. For example, growmemphis.agency is my top level domain. So my email is corey@growmemphis.agency. Therefore, all traffic going through my email also navigates through my domain, further creating some brand presence, that Google can crawl to know that people are visiting this site or at least communicating with this site. And that helps further validate the credibility of my domain. So, branded emails, email campaign. This one might be hard to determine, but if there is a website, a landing page, or a social media channel where there's a call to action to sign up for an email campaign, that's how you can determine whether or not this restaurant is running an email campaign. Content management system, CMS, is a little harder to track because this could be, see if I can think of the name of it, HubSpot, for example. WordPress can also be a content management system. But yeah, many times this one's hard to track, and there are plugins in Google that can help you determine whether or not these tools are being used on a website, for example. And then you have dedicated landing pages. A lot of people get this one confused because a landing page is not like a typical website. A landing page is lacking multiple features that a normal website would have, such as a header with URLs or links and menus. Landing pages shouldn't have any outbound links unless those outbound links are going to another landing page, but I'll elaborate on this one a little further later. But a landing page should be just a page that someone lands on and they can't navigate out of unless they close the window or hit the back button. And the only people who should be linked or have access to that landing page are users who click on an ad or banner or some dedicated advert that's specifically tied into that landing page. If you're running an ad on Facebook, for example, and you're sending people to your website, it's a lot harder to segregate or to understand what traffic specifically is coming from that ad and how much of that traffic is dissected away from your regular website traffic. So if you've got a landing page or if you've got a page on your website that is gaining traffic from a Facebook ad or an Instagram ad, but that website also gets traffic from your Google listing, and it also gets traffic from Yelp, and it also gets traffic from your billboard, and it also gets traffic from your business cards, then it's much harder to understand how many people came to your website from your business card, how many people came to your website from your billboard. So that's the importance of landing pages. And then we've got updated design. This means, is your website mobile responsive? Do you have a good user experience on a mobile device, on a tablet, on a smart TV, on an Xbox console? Those are things you want to look at in the future. But updated design means it's mobile responsive and it looks good on nearly any device. There are hundreds of devices, but typically you want to look at a mobile size, a tablet size, a desktop size, and a TV size in terms of your ability to make your website user friendly and especially make it easy for people who are reading impaired or who have impaired vision to be able to access on multiple devices depending on their particular settings, like text size. Sometimes you'll have an older prospect who might want to order food from your menu. They get onto your website from their phone, and because the text on their phone is so big, it breaks your website design and they can't navigate through your website. So accessibility is something that's important. And then you've got your SSL certificate. I've seen huge companies kind of miss out on this one. They register a domain, they get hosting, or they'll use something like Squarespace or Weebly in the past, and they set up this domain without an SSL certificate. And Google Secure Socket Layer is what SSL means. Basically, This is a way to scramble any sensitive data that the user enters into your website, like credit card info, email address, phone number. Once they input it in a contact form or in in any sort of form on your website, the SSL certificate is able to scramble that data when it gets delivered from that user's device or computer to a server, so that once it gets over to the server, it can be unscrambled. Whereas a website with no SSL certificate, if you enter your credit card information to purchase something and that site doesn't have an SSL certificate, that credit card information will not be scrambled and it can be intercepted by a hacker. And if it's intercepted and it's not scrambled, they'll be able to see the information, right? So an SSL certificate basically says we're going to create a secure connection between the user's computer and the server where your website is hosted. We're going to create a key so when they enter information in this contact or payment form, their information gets scrambled, and the only um, software or person that's able to decipher what that information actually is the server. So if a hacker intercepts it, they'll see a lot of numbers and letters and zeros and ones. But once that information actually goes to the server will have a key to be able to decrypt that information so that your customers, credit card info and phone number and address is safe. All right, so that's a huge one. Most hosting providers pretty much handle this for you now, but Google sees that as a huge threat when a website does not have one of those, and I'll show you where to look for that shortly. The next thing is Google Analytics. There is a way that we can see whether or not a website is using Google Analytics. Google Analytics basically is like any analytics, I will say, is like a security camera. Let's say your storefront is your website. Your storefront has a security camera, in the ceiling. Your website has an analytics code installed, which is like a security camera. Every 1,000 people that come into your storefront have different attributes and different things about them, like 600 of those people might have a beard. All right, this is just a hypothetical example. Out of 1,000 people, 600 people have a beard, and you're able to watch these 1,000 people come in and out of your store on your security camera. Well, that tells you that maybe you should run some ads targeting people with beards, even though you sell dog food, right? You would think I should target people who like dogs on Facebook, but the reality is, I can like Lamborghinis on Facebook. That doesn't mean I have one. So there are a lot of people who like dogs and cats and things that are relative to your product or service, but they might not actually own or be interested in purchasing those products or services. So the analytics on your website is like that security camera where it tracks information about people's activity on your website, and then over time, or over a number of users who visit your website, you're able to use that analytics information to determine who you should target in the future based on past traffic, right? Or what changes you should make to your website based on past traffic and based on your user activity. That's the best way that I can explain the importance of analytics. All right, and there are a lot of websites, believe it or not, from big brands that do not have analytics installed from Google or Facebook, or Pinterest, for example. Then you've got Google Business. You've got some businesses that don't have a Google My Business listing, which means if you go to search for their business, even if they don't have a brick and mortar, like Nike, for example, has multiple locations, but if you search Nike, information about their business will show up on the right hand side of Google with some verified information like contact info, when the business was started, the corporate maybe head office or who the owner is, the stock number. That information is what you want to have in your Google business listing, just verified and credible information about your business so that Google can know that this is a legitimate business. And then there's Google Maps. Obviously, if you have a physical location or PO box or something similar, you want to be able to have some sort of a map listing to help Google better rank you locally. Google Posts, yeah, Google Posts kind of not as relevant as it used to be, but there are a lot of people who use Google, and if you're posting on Google, Google might favor you in some rankings because you're active on the platform that ABC or Google owns. And then a YouTube channel. We've got text messaging. A lot of people have phones, even kids these days. So, like, text messaging is probably the most valued, overlooked medium for staying in touch with customers. I think text messages have maybe replaced email marketing and direct mail. You got your Facebook Messenger bot. If you want to have a much easier time using social media and you want social media to work for you, then you might want to go ahead and look at your messenger bot, like Facebook Messenger auto responses and different questions that you can insert to have those questions automatically answered on your behalf. That'll help save time. That'll help get customers answers to their questions, in non-business hours or over the weekend, for example. Then you've got Google Phones or Google phone numbers. This one is like your landing page. If you have a billboard with your primary phone number, and then a website with that same phone number, and then business cards with the same phone number, and a Facebook and an Instagram page and a LinkedIn and a Twitter, and they all have the same phone number, it's going to be very hard for you to track where people are finding the phone number and how they're getting in touch with you, right? So Google Phones is a way, or Google phone numbers is a way to create a new phone number specifically for your activated medium like Instagram or your link tree and your billboard. You could potentially get 10 phone numbers that have one alternating number, like 901 2345678 or 901 3345678, 901 4345678. Maybe there's a way for you to do that. But if you get that changed in various locations where you have a phone number listed, you can then go back and look at the analytics for your Google phone numbers to see which one is getting the most calls and which one you might potentially be able to deactivate if they're not getting enough calls through that medium. All right, and that'll help you understand what marketing you're doing is more effective. So, that's also useful for running advertisements. If you're running ads, 5, 6, 7 ads, you want all 7 of those ads, if you have a phone number on those advertisements, to be different. That way you know which advertisement is actually getting the most traction. So that's big for businesses that deal with getting phone calls. Facebook page, that one's a little bit obvious. Obviously, we'll want to be where people's attention is. Now we have grandparents, parents, cousins, family members, like all active on Facebook. And they are, you've got an older audience that's starting to get acquainted with Instagram like they haven't really before. The Facebook Pixel is another analytics tool. And I'll show you as well how you can check whether a website has a Facebook Pixel. But again, it's like a security camera that you would have installed in your storefront. This one is able to track how many people are visiting your website who are also simultaneously logged into Facebook on that same device they're using. So if I'm logged into Facebook on my iPhone and I go to your website on my iPhone, Facebook Pixel is able to track that I am a user who is interested in all these things on Facebook who visited your website. If 1,000 people who look like me, not in terms of like my skin tone, but maybe that too, but who look like me in terms of what we're interested in, if 1,000 people like me visit your website out of 1,500 people, Facebook can then create a lookalike audience based on what me and those other 1,000 people have in common for that website owner to now run an ad targeting us and people who look like us. And that's not possible if you don't have your Facebook Pixel installed on your site and you're getting thousands of users visiting the site. You're not able to then create a lookalike audience because the pixel wasn't there like the security camera would have been. right? Facebook events. If you're hosting events, go ahead and use Facebook events. I might even have to add another section for this for Eventbrite. I'm sure there are some other ones that are gaining popularity, but Eventbrite is a really good way. Even if the event is free, the problem with this is a full-time job, and managing all of these could cost a business upwards of $100,000 a year. Like, really, it should be about anywhere between $79,000 a year and a $170,000 a year. That's really the average of what a business should be spending to manage their social media presence. And I would even argue that if you're only paying for Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, just these basic social media channels, TikTok, X, Twitter, and LinkedIn, that you should still be paying about $90,000 a year for that one person to manage all those channels. That's what it should cost, and that's the amount of dedication that your social media manager should have in managing and being thorough in using all of those channels. But that's just an idea. So Facebook events is another one. It might take some time to set up those events and get them consistent, and to be proactive in understanding what your band schedule is, or getting photos and using, a decent quality medias for your Facebook events. But if you have free events that are happening every Thursday, like bingo, and you put that in an event, it's going to help people who use Facebook every day see that event. So that's a big one. Instagram verified. So obviously we want to have an Instagram account because that's where a lot of traffic is. But if you are a business and you don't see Instagram as an asset, then you're less likely to spend the extra $16 or whatever it is a month to verify yourself, right? But if you're building an audience upwards of 5 or 10,000 followers, and you're planning on using that as your tool, your free tool to market your business, and you've got all these people out here who are hacking and taking over accounts and stealing identity and pretending to be you or your business, and you don't have that asset verified, I'm guilty, because I really just don't have the extra money right now to pay for Instagram verified. But as a business owner, if you see Instagram as an asset, which you should, you need to go ahead and verify that, so that when you run into a problem of someone trying to take your business identity, Instagram knows for a fact that your account is the real one, and you don't miss out on months worth of being able to market your business, during downtime. So that's a significant one. That's why we gave this a 1 point. Link tree. So if you're on Instagram and you have one link, that's better than nothing, but eventually you want to be able to use a link tree. And with this, I'll also add bit.ly. So a URL shortener, kind of like Google phone numbers, a URL shortener is a way that you can track links that are clicked through. Like if you have a website, www.whatever.com, in your link tree, you go to bit.ly, and create a shortened URL pointing to that link, and you use the shortened URL instead of the official link, so that you can track how many people are clicking through your Instagram to get to that link. That way you understand whether Instagram or some other medium is pushing more customers through a particular link. It's really important. TikTok, obvious. You've got a lot of growth on TikTok. Just keep in mind terms and conditions. This is a Chinese company, so TikTok could go away tomorrow, and how you utilize TikTok in terms of ad spend, spending those ad dollars to push out your content. Just remember that this is kind of it's a backup, but it's also a very important backup. So you should take TikTok seriously. You might want to hire someone specifically to manage TikTok and Snapchat, but understand that put the same investment that you're putting into TikTok and Snapchat into other platforms that are less likely to go away, like Instagram. Just remember what happened with Vine and other short form video channels, how they just kind of disappeared overnight. It's possible that the same thing could happen on TikTok. So don't use TikTok as your only source of creating content, is what I'm trying to say. Twitter or X. I think there's still a lot of value in using Twitter for, corporate related relationships. So if you are a restaurant and you're looking to grow your catering or your bookings for luncheons or events, renting out event space, Twitter is a good place for getting in front of corporate personnel, as is LinkedIn. So if you have a LinkedIn company profile, not your own personal user account, but a company profile is important. And then Pinterest, if you're doing food pictures and you've got really good food pictures or product photos, then Pinterest might be a good value add for you if you can find someone to curate a Pinterest board and heavily promote your particular item alongside other similar items to help you grow interest in Pinterest. And then Snapchat, again, similar to TikTok, but Snapchat is a whole different beast. There is a great advertising opportunity on Snapchat, but you've got augmented reality, Snapchat glasses or spectacles, and all of these other features in Snapchat that a lot of businesses don't consider that you could use during events, for example. May do a video about that at a later date. And then there's IFTTT, which is if this then that. If you Google if this then that or ifttt.com, you can learn more about automation and syndication. Essentially, what this does is allows for you, the social media manager, to be able to connect different channels together so that you're only having to manage, 2 or 3 at a time, as opposed to having to log into all of these different social channels. So for example, Facebook and Instagram are automatically linked. There is a way to link Instagram, I believe, to Twitter and or X and other social channels where if you post on Instagram, that post will automatically be published on those other channels. But you might also want to have that Instagram post show up on your website as a blog post. You might want the video you put on YouTube to show up on your Facebook page automatically. You might want the reel that you uploaded to Instagram to show up on your Snapchat or your TikTok, or vice versa. IFTTT is something somewhat like, if I can think of the name of it, Zapier. Maybe it's Zapier. A platform that allows for you to connect different social channels that don't already have an integration natively. So Instagram natively integrates with Facebook, whereas if you post on Facebook, that post can show up on Instagram. If you post on Instagram, that post can show up on Facebook natively, but you might want those posts to show up on other channels without you having to manually log into every single social channel to post your content. With that, though, you want to keep in mind your ability to create responsive content, or inability, I should say, and to create cohesive content. So these last two, responsive distribution and cohesive distribution, you have to remember that Instagram videos, Threads videos, TikTok's videos, and we're talking about vertical videos, Facebook's Reels, YouTube Shorts, and I think I did mention Snapchat. You've got to keep in mind that the average duration of the videos for each platform, the recommended duration, is different, and the resolution of the videos, the recommended resolution or aspect ratio of those videos, might also differ. So if you use automation tools like IFTTT or Zapier, correct me if I'm wrong if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. If you use these automation tools to auto distribute vertical video across all of those channels, you might not be distributing those videos responsively, which means you may need to export a shorter version of your Instagram reel for YouTube Shorts, because an Instagram reel can be 90 seconds, but when you upload that reel to YouTube at 90 seconds, it might not upload as a YouTube short because it's too long. All right, so those are the things that you want to consider. So if you're going to auto distribute, look at the medium that has the shortest requirement. For example, I don't know what YouTube's is right now, but it could be 60 seconds. Maybe that's the longest. If 60 seconds is the longest duration for a short or reel, and you're using auto distribution to publish content across multiple channels, then you've got to keep in mind that all of your videos need to be 60 seconds or shorter. You can't use the max duration of 90 seconds just because you want to use Instagram's max length and think that your YouTube upload is going to upload as a short, right? So responsive distribution is where that comes in, as well as cohesive distribution. If you're distributing content that has a recommended aspect ratio of 1:1 for Instagram, hypothetically speaking, and then you go and auto distribute that to Twitter and LinkedIn, their recommendations might be a little bit different. So are you creating content specific to those channels? If LinkedIn, for example, is very important to you, then you want to try to stick to the aspect ratios that are particular to LinkedIn, right? So that's why we have those there as a point. And then other than that is activity, which I probably should have put at the bottom, but activity means how frequently are you uploading content and how consistently are you uploading the same type of content. Some restaurants, for example, uploaded video when they realized video was really popular, and then they got lazy and started back uploading photos. And while they are consistently uploading content, they're not sticking to their activity schedule in terms of video is what's popular, but are we investing into video consistently until it works, or are we giving up because it's easier to do photo? And that's where activity gets, kind of a higher count. So this document essentially scores up to 100 points. And these numbers on the side here are the points that you get per line item. Branding has a high score of 2 if the company is utilizing branding, but if their branding is spectacular, flawless, we double the points and we give the company a 4, right? So these points all amount up to 50 if they're not doubled, which means at the least we recommend a company has a 50 out of 100 to say you're activating everything that's available to you for free to some extent. But if you're really killing the game and you're making this a priority because you realize you're a marketing business first that sells food, or you're a marketing business that sells t-shirts or whatever it is second, then that's when we know that you are likely to have a higher score of 100 points, right? So responsive distribution, Gary Vaynerchuk is a great example of someone who looks at all the platforms and has a team behind him that's creating content per platform. And so for responsive, cohesive distribution and activity, this at a base level is 4 points, right? But if you're doing everything and you're going above and beyond, this could be 8 points for you. So this document basically says if it's not implemented, you don't get the point. If it is implemented, you get the total point listed beside the line item. And if it's implemented properly, you get a double point. So you could have a website, right? But it's a 1998 design and it uses Flash outdated technology, but you have a website, you might get the point because you have a website. All right, but if you went above and beyond, we might give you a point, and then we'll highlight this, let's say green, and we'll give you the point. That means you got 4 instead of 2, right? So this helps me be able to visually show, my prospect, for example, here's where you're leaving money on the table. Anything that is not green, you can improve on, right? Anything that is not checked, you need to implement or find some way to, at a minimum, incorporate into your marketing strategy. If you have everything checked and none of it's green, that means you're at least keeping up with the times, but you're leaving some money on the table by not taking this as seriously as you should. And when everything is green, or most things are green, that probably means that they're putting a decent amount of money into marketing. They take marketing seriously, and they probably have the results to show for it, because it's not cheap to do it well, to do it right. All right, so this is the document, and I'm going to just kind of walk through how I would go about figuring out, what a particular business is doing. And we'll start with Hen House. Going to left align these, and I can put notes here on these empty lines. But let's pull this aside, and let's go ahead and save this. File, save. And let's go to Hen House Wine Bar. I think that's what the website is. Yeah, Hen House Wine Bar. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to do, and hopefully you can see this. If you can't, I'll at least dictate so that you understand what's going on. Look at this from your computer when you get a chance, because this live stream will stay online. But once you get into a website, I'm using Google Chrome. I prefer Google Chrome over any other browser, especially over Windows, Microsoft Edge. I never use Microsoft Edge. Firefox is decent. It's been a while since I've used any of the other ones like Opera. But Google Chrome, I have these helpers installed as, I guess you can call them widgets. Let me just do a quick search for Facebook Pixel Helper Chrome. Extensions. Okay, yeah, extensions. So you can install these extensions to help you determine, what tools and software and features are embedded on different websites. The first one that I would install is the Meta Pixel Helper. This shows you what websites are currently using the Facebook Meta Pixel, right? Which is like an analytics tool available through Facebook in the Facebook or Meta Business Suite. So if you go to business.facebook.com, this is the Meta Business Suite, which manages Facebook and Instagram business tools like advertising and Facebook Pixels, shopping. And then we have several business assets. I couldn't tell you how many accounts I have access to here. But this is where you schedule posts and you do a lot of businessy related things, including access money and earnings from the content that you've posted. But that being said, we installed the Meta Pixel Helper, and then I installed an extension called Wappalizer. It's Wappallyzer. That helps me see what other integrated technologies are loaded into websites. So when we go over to henhousewinebar.com, and if you need to pause this video if you're watching later, do that and install those 2 apps at the least. We can look over here and click on the Meta Pixel Helper icon, and it's going to tell me no pixel found on henhousewinebar.com. Make sure your pixel code is properly implemented and ad blockers are turned off. You can review Metapixel implementation with your developer. All right, so essentially what this means is Henhouse Wine Bar does not have a Metapixel, which means if they're running Instagram or Facebook ads, they have no way of tracking who's actually coming to their website, seeing that this website has a menu, it has reservations, it has join the flock, which, what is this, join the team? So they're not tracking what people on Facebook are clicking through the website to fill out applications. They're not tracking who's clicking on the events page for, right now this pulls over to the South of Beale website, which also doesn't have a, see, this is what I'm saying. These are big businesses, or in terms of locally, these are well-known establishments, and whatever agency they've hired has not seen the value, or really just hasn't had the knowledge of the importance of integrating just this alone, because Instagram and Facebook is where everybody's attention is right now. So why not install your security camera on your website to be able to track what traffic is coming to your site, right? And then you've got gift cards. So if you had 10,000 people come to your site and 1,000 out of the 10, let's say 10% decided to click through the gift cards page, then that's 1,000 people that you can then retarget, and a lookalike audience that you can create to say, hey, you might be interested in gift cards because 1,000 people who look like you clicked through our website and ordered gift cards. So, hey, here is a discount for your first gift card order for Christmas, right? Or for your, special someone. So that's the importance of the Facebook Meta Pixel Helper. Let's see if my website has one. GrowMemphis. I might not. I just rebuilt my websites. So, but I'm also not like running Facebook and Google ads. So I don't have one installed on, but I also don't sell products or services directly to people. I do word of mouth. Let's see, Memphis entrepreneur.club. All right, so right there it popped up. Facebook Meta Pixel Helper shows it's highlighted blue with a little green number 1, which means there is 1 pixel currently enabled on the site, and this is what it's going to look like. It's a page view pixel, which tells me when I'm logged into Facebook. If I go to Facebook right now, I'm currently logged in, so all of my personal information, my activity, is embedded into my own pixel. So when I view this website, the pixel is like a transparent literal pixel that's embedded on the site. And when my computer screen sees that pixel because I viewed the website, then Facebook sends over to the owner of the website that little piece of data to say, I'm a user logged into Facebook currently who just landed on your website, and here are 1,000 things about me that you can pay to target in other people. Facebook is not going to show the website owner what those 1,000 things are, like my skin color, whether or not I wear glasses, what kind of job I have, what pages I interact with, how many friends I have. They're not going to share that information with the website owner, but you can look at your average website visitor and pay Facebook to say, hey, target 10,000 people who look like the average person that comes on my site. Out of 10,000 people, 1,000 of my website visitors live in Memphis, Tennessee. So therefore, Facebook is going to say, all right, give me $150 a month, $5 a day, and we're going to target people who live in Memphis, Tennessee, because most of your visitors who are logged into Facebook who come to your website also live in Memphis, Tennessee. All right, so there's that. Next is Wapalizer. So let's refresh Henhouse. Let's click on Wapalizer, and then what's going to pop up is the content management system being used here, or CMS, is Squarespace. So they get 2 boxes checked. They have a website, they have a content management system. Whether or not they have a landing page, that's very hard for me to say. They have an email sign up list, so I can go under email campaign. I don't know if they even have an email campaign, but we'll assume that they do, because you can have an email sign up and still not be running email campaigns. And I'm not going to sign up to any email campaigns because I have 30,000 emails that I haven't read yet. 34,000. I don't know if you can see that. 34,573 emails because I have access to like 50 different email addresses for my clients and their employees. But they're using Squarespace. What commerce they're using in terms of being able to accept payments, maybe under the reservations tab, they're using Squarespace Commerce and security HSTS. Don't know what that is really. Miscellaneous, Webpack, Module, Federation. None of that is important to us. But we can see here that we don't have any Google Analytics integration, right? So if I go back to memphisentrepreneur.club, my Facebook pixel loads up. If I open up Wappalizer, it looks like I haven't set that up either, but I'm using WordPress. So let's see, maybe under, yeah, these are all brand new websites for me anyways. Let's see. But I want to be able to at least show you. All right, an example. So the website that I built for one of my bigger clients, Tandem Restaurant Partners, if you open up Wappalizer or just click on it and you load this into Chrome, we've got WordPress. We're using a CDN, using Cloudflare. We're using Slider Revolution to manage our slider. We're using WooCommerce for payment processing and shopping. We're using Google Analytics and the Facebook Pixel. And then there's a ton of other technology. So, I mean, you just scroll down this and you see the number of items that are integrated on this website in comparison to Henhouse, which has, let's reload it. Technically, 4 items, right? And that's really important. This is where you can go to your client or to your prospect to say, hey, you know, you guys are putting time, energy, effort, money into marketing, but you don't have analytics. So marketing is important to you, otherwise you wouldn't have anybody posting content. But you're not being, how do we better word this? But you can better track the effectiveness of your marketing if you integrate this tool, this tool, this tool, which I can show you that you don't have, right? So if you're going to open a storefront and never install security cameras, you can walk up to that restaurant owner or storefront owner and say, hey, let me show you the benefits of installing a security camera. They're obviously going to know what the benefits are, and they're going to say, you know, you're absolutely right. That's the first thing they're going to do, right? So if you're going to open a store and the first thing you're going to do is install a security camera, then why is that not the first thing that you're going to do when you're going to open yourself to invest time, money into marketing? Not put those security cameras on you. I don't do marketing. The marketing that I do is not, you know, it's going to change. I might actually change that, but up until COVID, you know, I increased my business upwards of $15,000 to $20,000 a month just by word of mouth, because most of my clientele were not active on social media or really the internet, and that's changing slowly. So Henhouse does not have, you know, they do have branding, but it looks like their website is unbranded, as in they don't have a logo up here. If I scroll down to the very bottom, they've got great photos, so that's their branding, but none of their branding is actually cohesive. So if we click on Facebook and Instagram, if their logos don't look like this, then something's different. Their branding isn't cohesive in their full online presence, which, you know, their website. So Instagram, boom, we can go and check Instagram, but it's not verified, so we just give them a check. Let's just add a slash in this to say, hey, you're on Instagram, but it's not verified. That's okay. Facebook, they're on Facebook. So Facebook page, no Facebook pixel. I'm sure they're not using Google phones. If we go into message, is it going to ask us to, I'm interested, can you tell me more? What are your hours? We click on what are your hours. And it's not automatically sending me a message telling me what the hours are, so they're not using a Facebook Messenger bot. Like, no one should have to go into Facebook Messenger to send them, to respond to these. The branding is a little different. We've got a blue background henhouse logo here. Instagram, it's kind of a different variation of the logo. I definitely recommend they use the same one across the board, especially considering both of them are circles. Let's go to Google and henhouse. And henhouse grocery store shows up. So let's go henhouse wine bar. Henhouse, we don't see their logo here, and Google has the ability to upload logos. So again, it's talking about like cohesion. Let's go to X. I'm not a huge fan of that. Like, it should have just been Twitter, and X.com should have been something totally different, but who am I? Shout out to 1Password, assuming my password is correct. Actually, I think I changed my username, so that probably won't work. But let's just go ahead and search here. Henhouse wine bar, maybe? Are y'all not on Twitter? Henhouse. People. Wine bar. Henhouse wine bar. Oh. Henhouse Memphis. All right, so let's assume, if I can't find it, then other people won't be able to find it. So Twitter, that's a no-go. I can pull up TikTok on my phone and search for oh my gosh. Henhouse wine bar.
I visit the hen house for my B-day.
Users. And I'm not seeing henhouse wine bar. So let's search henhouse Memphis. This is another part of like cohesive
Guys, this is my impression.
distribution. So if your handle, social media handle, is not the same across all your social media accounts, that's something that you want to try your best effort at creating. So let's see, we're not on TikTok, we're not on X. Let's go over to Instagram and see if they have a link tree or a link in bio, and they do. We can look down at the URLs at the bottom of the screen. If you look like down in this area at the bottom left, when you hover over a URL, you can see that they're not using shortened URLs. All right, so we can assume that they don't have any automation use here. So what I'm going to do is when I go over something that I can't find, we're going to, instead of making it scary and red, we're just going to make it orange. All right, so IFTTT, we're going to assume that IFTTT is not being used if they don't have all these other things activated. Facebook Pixel, TikTok, Twitter, Have LinkedIn? Let's go to LinkedIn. And Google will usually list out these social media channels, but it only shows Facebook here. So that's something they want to try to fix. Let's go to LinkedIn. And I'll show you a great example of something we set up for Tandem Restaurant Partners. So let's go down to Tandem Restaurant Partners Company. And then Tandem Restaurant Partners consists of several restaurants. So if you visit the company page, you can look at the About page, get an overview. There's the website, all the information, 16 associated members and locations. So got various different locations and different restaurants here. But under affiliated pages, each restaurant has its own associated LinkedIn page, which we call a showcase page. So if you have a restaurant group or an umbrella, you can put a showcase page under that affiliated LinkedIn page. And that's, I'll probably do a video on that another time. But if I click show all, you've got Sidecar, Zinnies, Hernando's Hideaway, Front Street, Flipside, Sugar Grits, Red Bones, Growlers, Woodchucks, Watershed, Beignets, right? Boom. That's what we want to see. But let's look at Hen House. Wine bar. And you're talking about events, catering, sponsorships, luncheons, and you don't have a LinkedIn company profile. It's free. Hen House Wine Bar. All right, so nothing shows up. You got people who have listed themselves as employees at some point of Hen House. See, intern, service assistant, Hen House Wine Bar, part-time. You can't click on Hen House Wine Bar because it's not an actual company page under this person's LinkedIn profile. Let's go to my LinkedIn profile. Right, I've got all of my stuff set up here. And if I go under experience, there's Tandem Restaurant Partners, and I can click and it'll actually go through to the page. Right, there's Grow Memphis Agency. I can click, it'll go through to the page. So that's the example. Silky O'Sullivan's, like I've set this up for them. And let's see, view as member, for example. Right, so they have a page. I've done a lot more for restaurants than what they pay for, but I at least get the foundation set up so that they exist in these channels, so that when someone says, I am now a server or general manager at Silky's, and they list that in their LinkedIn bio, Silky's is clickable and all the information for Silky's is there. Other companies and other executives and people in LinkedIn's community can see Silky's as a page and may consider Silky O'Sullivan's for the next event. Right? So that's the importance of that. So they don't have a LinkedIn, so we're going to make that orange. I doubt they have a Pinterest, but I'm going to go look anyways. Literally, if they're posting pictures on Instagram and using IFTTT to auto-post Instagram photos to Pinterest, they could have somewhat of a Pinterest presence because, look at this. This is Pinterestable. All of this is pinnable. It's interesting, it's pinnable, it's Pinterestable. For those of you that don't know what Pinterest means. Interesting pins. Alright, you pin your interests to a board, like a cork board. Alright, so yeah, all of Hen House's, photos and their photographers' content is all Pinterestable. It's a weird way to say it. So let's go to Pinterest and let's search. Get a personalized plan. No, thank you. Hen House. Wine bar. Nothing. Have I set one up for Silky's? Silky's does have a lot of stuff. Add accounts, profile. It's been so long since I've used Pinterest. Let's see. Grow Memphis Agency. Can I see accounts? I don't use Pinterest a whole lot, but I know there's a way to like search for accounts. Yeah, we'll figure that out later, but I don't see much of anything for hen house. When I search, I've got, let's see, maybe this is for, let's see if we go, it's a website, but we don't know who pinned this. No, hen house. So that's something that we're going to want to figure out, is like how to find profiles. But it looks like, you know, someone has uploaded some content at the least, so we might be able to give them a checkbox specifically for Pinterest. That's good news. We'll take it. Gallery, hen house wine bar. So let's find Pinterest and check that and remove the fill. Snapchat. I don't too much use Snapchat, but I know we created one for Silky O'Sullivan's. Let's do a search. And popular accounts, nothing comes up for hen house. But we got personal accounts that come up. So Snapchat, we're going to go ahead and give a big fat orange. Whoops. You know, activity, we'll give them a checkbox for activity since they're posting stuff. And in terms of responsive distribution, I don't think they're putting out enough content for that to really be considered. But if we go to Instagram, got some vertical photo. If we go to Facebook, that's cohesive because it's showing up in both places. But you know, we've only got a couple of places where these posts are showing up. If I search again, in-house wine bar, that most recent image does not show up in here. If I go back to Google and let's see, we don't have any posts. No posts. So typically what I would do is I would just go ahead and have that responsive and cohesive distribution unchecked, simply because we don't have posts showing up everywhere. Now back to Facebook, and under the Events tab, and there is no Events tab. Okay, so I gave a big fat orange there. I wonder where reservations go to. I might want to add reservations as its own line item, but Facebook events. Let's click reserve. That should go to, so that goes to Resi. Their website reservations go to Book Now. Does that go to Resi? Goes to Resi. Awesome. I don't know why I made that one orange, not the other. Okay, let's see what's next. We do have a Facebook page. We don't have Google phone numbers, I'm pretty certain. But let's double check. 901-499-5436. 499-5436 on 499-5436. Do they have their phone number on Instagram? Let's see. They do not. Which they should. Again, I highlighted the wrong thing. So Google phones. And you know, for Instagram, I might even go in here in the notes and say no phone number listed. Right, as I'm going through this, I might add notes about things that I find or don't find. In terms of text messages, I never saw a way to opt into texting. Straight Whiskey Diner, Starlight Whiskey Diner to Indols. So Resi does events. Interesting. I don't think a lot of people look to Resi for events, but they have that in their link tree. So Facebook events, you know, we might even say FB and EB events, because that's the primary two sources for events, but we'll consider Resi. Text messaging, we'll go ahead and set this to orange. YouTube channel. And we're looking for Henhouse Wine Bar. So Erica Jane, aka Dirty Jane, uploaded her own video. The Henhouse Wine Bar by the M-Town Chowdown. So people are uploading their own videos, which should be a sign to say, hey, maybe we should have a YouTube channel, because this has 85 views, this one has 18 views 11 months ago. YouTube is really big, so if you're not, you know, creating YouTube long form content, again, you know, I know this stuff takes money, it takes a little time, some investment, but guess who owns YouTube? Google. So if you've got YouTube videos and you're getting views, then Google is probably going to rank your website a little bit higher because you're in Google's ecosystem. Google Posts, they don't have any Google Posts. I searched for that already. An example would be, let's go to Google and search for, let's say, Silky. E-commerce would probably be the last one that I add in here, but just some sort of a commerce. But you know, I even connected Silky's to their Google listing, to where not only are their products showing up, like our New Year's, um, as you can call it, a season pass, like the fast pass for Bill Street Merchants Association. Like, we could link that in here and people could purchase through the website. But we have products here, tickets from the product posts. We got product posts, right? So we've posted products in Google and linked those to our products pages. And then profiles. See, this is how I set it up with YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. But this was years and years ago. Silky O'Sullivan's on Google. I have the ability to go in here and add it up and update, but I'm trying to, okay, view all. I was trying to find, oh, there's my son. Look at my boy. There's Zeppelin. If you're looking for a big patio, real live goats, live music, the perfect pregame watch party destination tomorrow, Zeppelin will show you the way. See you inside. Bill Street, Silky O'Sullivan's Game 6. More posts, some with video. I don't know if they still do video anymore. Arbo's, cheese dip. Right, so Google Posts is a big thing because It's Google. You want to get more rankings on Google, more consideration from people, then post daily on Google. But we did look for hen house and we did not find it, any posts. So let's go back. Let's double check just to make sure we're not crazy. No Google posts. Google Maps. Let's go to Maps. I guess we can click on directions, but we'll say maps.google instead. Whoops. And hen house. See what shows up. Say hen house Memphis. This is what people are probably going to search. Hen house, 233 photos, 188 reviews, overview. They're verified. They're listed. Right, menu, blah blah blah. So typically, if you see a business on Google My Business, then they probably are also on Google Maps. Sometimes you'll see a business on Google Maps that isn't on Google My Business. So we can give that a check to say, yes, they are on Google Maps. They are on Google My Business. They don't have Google Analytics installed, so we're going to highlight that. SSL certificate. If I go back to the website, then I can click on this lock icon next to the domain name, and it's going to let me know that the connection is secure. Sometimes on some browsers it'll show as a green or a blue lock icon. And if it's red or unlocked, that means there is no SSL certificate installed. Therefore, the website could be vulnerable or prone to attacks, and your computer could be exposed to viruses if you visit that website. So Boyle, when I first did a review of Boyle Investment Company in Memphis, they initially did not have an SSL certificate, and I did one of these evaluation sheets for them, and I walked in and I said, hey, I just wanted to show you some things about your website that you don't have an SSL certificate, first of all, and that could be really dangerous for your online presence, because if someone visits your website and they get a virus on their computer, they might not trust your business or your services. And the lady said, like, wow, we never knew that this was really a thing. It's a shame that I wasn't the one that they hired to build their website and whatnot, but they fixed it, and they realized like a big gap in their online presence because of just that interaction alone. So you're welcome, Boyle. Um, so SSL certificate. Hen House does have an SSL certificate. Most websites today are going to have one. Updated design. Let me pull this up on my phone. So let me go to Safari. And we're not going to be too hard on them. henhousewinebar.com. And because it's built in Squarespace, chances are it is automatically going to be mobile responsive. We've got lazy loading. As I scroll, some items load so that the entire website doesn't load all at once. We're just going to go ahead and give them a check on updated design. It doesn't have to be too fancy. It looks good. It's responsive. The only thing that's missing is branding, but they have branding, so we'll give them a check. We won't give them any green points. All right, website, yes. Updated design, yes. Landing pages, I haven't come across any landing pages just yet. So typically, if I go to Instagram, we're hiring, take our survey, reserve a table, menu, straight whiskey, dinner, blah, blah, blah. Let me click on all of these. This brings us to SOB. We're hiring could go over to a landing page so that they can know for a fact that people are applying from the Instagram page or the link tree. Let's see. What did I click? Take our survey. So we got a survey here, which is kind of like a landing page, but it's a survey. All right, you see how you don't have any links here at the top, any menus? You can't click the logo. You can't navigate away from this page, clicking any other link on the page. That is what a landing page looks like. It's a simple page that you can't navigate away from, and it has one actionable call to action, which in this case is the submit button. but I won't consider that a landing page. That's a survey, so it doesn't really count. But what we would be looking for is an advertisement or something from HenHouse that links to a landing page. For now, we're going to say that there are no dedicated landing pages, and we're going to highlight that. And then branded emails. If I go to, that one's going to be kind of hard to tell. I don't know if we're going to be able to determine whether or not there are branded emails. So contact only has a phone number and an address. Let me hover over that again. I'm not sure what I just saw, but I saw something. Oh, that was Google Translate. I can enter my email address to sign up to their email list, but I have no way. So maybe if we go to, I got a business card actually in my wallet from someone at HenHouse. I'm not going to put his information out there, but I'll be able to determine if his email is branded. He's using a logo on the business card, but let's see. Name at henhousewinebar.com. So, boom, branded email. Way to go, guys. All right, so based on this, we just went through this whole thing, and we're going to accumulate these points. So, what we have is, I'm just going to use my calculator so I don't miss anything. 2 plus 2 plus, 1 plus 1 plus 7 plus 4 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1 plus 2 equals 25 out of 100. I should put that in big fat red. That's the only thing I'll have red. And maybe, make the text white. Or yellow. Like warning. It's too much contrast. So let's do no color on the fill and text color to be that same orange color. 25 out of 100. Maybe stretch that bad boy out just a hair. And if you know anything about school math, forget girl math and boy math. Let's talk about school math. 25 is a failing grade. So total score out of 100 is 25 because we didn't get any double points on here. We got a Facebook page, but they're not fully using Facebook to their advantage because there are no, there's no events page. If we go to reviews, there's no reviews given. They're not encouraging people to do reviews. If we go to check-ins, HenHouse has checked into HenHouse, I guess, a lot. There should be like a community tab or mentions. And if we look under here, has anyone ever been to HenHouse? What was your experience? If we look under view more comments, we're going to want to look for HenHouse's logo. And we see that HenHouse has not responded to any of these people. And they didn't like the comment. So they probably don't even know that this tab is here. And then if we look under Welcome to Memphis, let's see if HenHouse has engaged or responded to Welcome to Memphis's post. No, they haven't. I'm not seeing any comments under there. Right, Jennifer Biggs, shout out Jennifer. More comments. Nothing from HenHouse. So we'll give them a check with Facebook, to check the box, but we won't give them double the points because they're not totally utilizing Facebook. I haven't even gotten a response to my "What are your hours?" message I sent on Henhouse's Messenger. So this is just a prime example of the importance of being fully active on social media and being a marketing company first, and then selling your product or service. And if you got one, two, maybe three people dedicated to really pushing your online presence, and you're paying anywhere from 75 to, at I would even say $150,000 a year to one to three people. One person 50 grand, another person 50 grand, another person 50 grand, or one person 150 grand, and say your whole job is to manage these three things: Facebook, Instagram. Um, Facebook and Instagram is one, email and text as another, and then Google and the website as the third. We'll combine those and say $150,000 a year, and any um, any reviews given on Instagram, or I'm sorry, on Google, or anywhere for that matter, we want you to go in there and respond to those. Are there even Google reviews? Oh, okay, there we are. Google reviews. We want you to go in there and respond to these reviews, right? And then re-upload these people's photos if they give you a 5 star, to highlight their reviews on social media, and share their photos. If they're great photos, you can put it in a story to where it's temporary and not permanent on your profile, and then do a story highlight for reviews, right? But we've got a lot of great reviews here. I'm gonna look for our lower rated reviews. Somebody that gave 1 star, not us, but Henhouse. Robert Floyd. Flies everywhere. Service was great, but flies everywhere in the restaurant. Food wasn't great either. Nobody liked this. Nobody responded to this. Um, there should be a public response from Henhouse saying, "Hey, thank you for sharing your experience. You're right. We did have flies in this particular span of time, and here's what we are doing to solve that, or what we have done to solve that since then. Thank you again for sharing your experience, and we hope that you can come back to check us out with a fly-free experience." Something really simple. And here's a coupon, or you've got a meal on us next time you come. Just show us your ID with your name that matches what's in your Google profile, and consider giving us a second review if your experience this next go round is different, and you'll win that guy over and potentially have him recommend this restaurant as a in the future, to say, "I had an experience at this restaurant. There were flies there the first time I came. They hooked me up with a free meal, fixed their fly issue, and gave me great service and great food the second time I came. You guys should definitely go check them out because they listened to me. They read my response, my review. They responded to my review, and they set me up to be able to now go blah blah blah." Right? So we sit here. We're here an hour 30 minutes. And if we're meeting with an executive team, say, "Hey, I know this might take some time, but I'm doing this live stream, and it's taking me most of my time to go and create this document for you. This is what I do in the comfort of my own home, but it shouldn't take you the same hour and 30 minutes to go over the document you created," right? So you can probably have a 30-minute, 45-minute meeting to say, "Hey, before we get onboarded with you, let me share with you some information about your online presence that I was able to dissect from the comfort of my home. Here are the things that you could do to improve, and I know marketing is important to you. This is what I found." And our company is one that's able to go in and take a look at all these things and solve these issues, as opposed to just creating beautiful images. Because if you create beautiful images and nobody's responding to comments, you're missing out on an opportunity to get more recommendations, referrals, and clientele coming through the door, right? So with this, we have a 25 out of 100. I will take this to I can email this to the guy digitally as a PDF, and then I'll go to FedEx print or FedEx office, print this off, go and have all of these lines filled in with recommendations of what to do or what we can do to solve these problems, and say, hey, I'd love to have a meeting with you to talk about this, go over it, just do a quick review. I've made it really simple, easy to read, simple, easy to understand. If you have any questions, here's my contact information. Leave your business card and say, hey, when can you be available for 15 minutes to take a look at this with me? So that in the event that you have any questions, blah, 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 they might not give you an appointment there on the spot, but um, once they take a look at this and they'll say, no other marketing agency has gone this in depth without us being their client. So if you've done this on your own, what is it that you can do for us when we pay you, right? So there we are. A total score of 25 out of 100. No shade, South of Bill and Hen House, whatever your restaurant group might be called. But this is how we do a online presence marketing relevancy overview. If you have any questions for me via YouTube or Facebook, find me on Instagram. That's the best way to get in touch with me right now is Instagram at 901 CORYOWENS. 901 Corey Owens. I've got a floral dinner jacket on in my profile picture, and it's mostly motivational videos and videos of my son and my girlfriend. So go find me, send me a direct message, send a message saying membership if you want access to this documents and other documents that I produce in the future that are similar. And if you want to learn more about how you can not only build a decent sized marketing agency working from home, but how you can better facilitate and educate your clients in terms of creating a desirable and reliable online presence and not just for managing social media or updating a website. So there's that. I hope that this was helpful to someone, especially you business owners. I know that this is a long watch, but it's definitely worth it. If you want to go and review your own website, your own restaurant's online presence, this is a great tool to use. Just let me know what restaurant you own, and I can do a review for you and then send the document to you so that you can take a look at what my recommendations would be, and that would be useful for you to hand off to whoever it is that you do have managing your marketing presence. I'd be glad to do that, and we'll talk about a decent consultation fee. I charge $125 an hour right now just for the consultation, so maybe $250 is probably all you'll have to spend to get this thoroughly filled out. But we can also talk about providing the services for you. Again, I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, send me a message on Instagram at 901 Corey Owens. If you're subscribing to my YouTube, I don't really check my YouTube comments frequently, but I will start. If you're here on Facebook, I do check my direct messages occasionally, but keep in mind that if we're not connected, your messages might go into like a filtered request page and I might not see them for a while. But outside of that, catch me next time for another video related to marketing, and let me know what it is that you want to learn for your agency or for your business in terms of enhancing your online presence.